Fiona, and thank you everybody for having us here today. I'll just obviously introduce myself again for people who don't know me. My name is Rebecca Thompson and I'm the Regional Manager for iRaiser in ANZ and the wider APAC region. Feel free to scan this QR code and connect with me directly on LinkedIn. I've mentioned this before, so I apologise if anyone's hearing this again, but if you do scan on that LinkedIn and connect with me, you'll see I have a fundraising background myself, and I'm super excited to be able to present the iRaiser solutions here in Australia, particularly as I've been in your shoes before, so I really understand your challenges and your opportunities in this space. Before we continue, I'll just play a little video so you can get a feeling of who iRaiser is.
Since iRaiser was founded in 2012, we have seen the world go through countless challenges. And while many times the future seemed uncertain and hope seemed to be lost, you chose to take action and fight. No matter the size of your organization, local or international, you face these challenges with empathy, courage, and determination. And we couldn't be prouder to empower you along the way. You brought together donors from all around the world, raising 1 billion euros for more than 500 extraordinary causes in 20 different countries through our platform. You provided children with a better life and future, protected our environment and wildlife, supported medical care and research that saved numerous lives, and provided hope and opportunities to thousands of people in need. You are world changers. Thanks to your continuing trust, we have expanded and grown into a team of 50 people all over Europe, committed to helping charities raise more with less effort through ethical and reliable fundraising solutions. So we want to say thank you. Thank you for your trust, your ambition for change, and the positive impact you have brought into our world. We hope to keep empowering nonprofits like you for years to come, and together, make the world a better place.
Okay. I personally really love that video because it's a nice reminder of all the different wonderful causes that we're all representing here today. So if you want to know more about iRaiser, just jump onto our website, iRaiser.com, and you can check out what we do, and feel free to connect with me to have a meeting directly. Now, today we are looking at one of our clients called Shelter UK. Recently at our digital fundraising week, Shelter UK presented a case whereby they launched a product called Shelter's Online Book Club. It's all to do with a value exchange offering, and we're going to hear a 10-minute snippet of that 60-minute webinar today, just to give you an idea on what they did, how they did it, the key results that they got, and some of the key learnings that they experienced. We will hear from Ali and Shabnam from Shelter UK in this presentation. And at the end, you will see there are some links directly to their LinkedIn profiles. So if you have some direct specific questions about the case, you can obviously go straight to them and ask them about their experience. We love Shelter UK and all that they're doing in their digital space. So I'm really happy to be able to present this to you today. So the book club online program that they ran, before we begin, I'd just like to run a short poll, and Fiona's going to launch it in a moment, but it's more around, we're interested to see your experiences with value exchange. So if you could just take a moment to complete that poll about your knowledge of a value exchange program.
The answers are coming in, Beck. I'll share those with you shortly.
Okay.
Okay. Just waiting for a few more to answer.
Okay.
Okay, a couple more answers coming in, but it looks like 57% have said that they've heard of a value exchange but not done it. So
Okay.
that's the biggest group. 15% have said that they've never heard of it. And 15% have said they've created value exchange before but not subscription based. And then another 15% have said, I've created a subscription product before. Nobody has said that they're a pro. Maybe they're being very modest.
Okay, well, that's excellent. It's always good to get an insight from the audience as to what we're talking about and who's experienced in it and who's not. So essentially, value exchange in its simplest form is basically when you obviously have something and the donor actually gets something in return. So in this case, you become an online regular giver through a subscription, and you join the book club, and you will hear what you actually get as being part of that book club. So it's in its simplest form is, yes, you get something in return for your donation, essentially. Now, we are going to do some chat at the end of this session. Hopefully we have some time. So if you have heard of any value exchange programs, or you're testing or looking at something yourself, please pop a note in the chat so that others can check out what you're doing and the ideas in which are coming to mind for you for a value exchange program. So we're now going to have a look at Shelter UK's case, and then we're going to have a little chat about it.
You through one of our value exchange product tests, the Shelter Book Club. So our project goal was to investigate scope for a potential subscription product, acquire new supporters, generate dollar, euro, pounds, wherever you're from, and diversify our product portfolio. So to do this, we created the Shelter Book Club. It was a subscription product to entice a younger audience into regular giving, a virtual community of book lovers coming together to read and discuss social change. It started as a minimum viable product, the most basic form of the product to get it out to market to test. But we built it out since growing it more than we'd ever imagined since launch in June 2020. So how did it work? For a minimum of $4.99 a month, via regular debit or credit card payments, members had access to all of our virtual content. So every 6 weeks, we provided one title to read around a social issue, and we covered housing and homelessness, anti-racism, and LGBTQ+ titles, amongst others. Our members voted for a members' choice read, giving 2 possible books members could read within the next 6-week cycle. And we chatted about the books throughout the next month. We then hosted meetings in the Forum of Book Clubs, our virtual book club provider, and on Zoom to discuss the book, as well as hosting exclusive author Q&A events and giving our members free access to events hosted by our contacts within publishing.
Over the next 5 years, there's going to be a massive 72% trajectory growth in subscriptions, going from £583 million, which is roughly about $803 million, or 683 million euros, I should say, going up to over $1 billion. Now, the value exchange is attractive in that people are receiving something that they want and are happy to receive. This concept isn't a new one, but it's taken a new turn. So if you think about 20 to 30 years ago, in the UK, we would have paid the milkman to deliver fresh milk bottles to your doorstep. Now we're paying companies like HelloFresh, Birchbox to deliver, well, maybe not Birchbox, but HelloFresh to deliver ingredients to our door so that we can quickly prepare dinner after a long day at work. The value exchange is still there. So in other words, you're paying someone money to deliver something to your door, but the needs of the recipient have changed. We found that subscriptions were a great way to improve, sorry about that. We found that subscriptions were a great way to improve on relationships, with the average length of a subscription being around 22 months, which is way longer than the average regular gift. So we did some competitor analysis, and we saw that there was a gap in the market, and there was a space for us to grow and to do something really great with subscriptions. So why millennials? Well, they're an audience that we hadn't successfully engaged at that point, and were not our typical regular donors, especially at Shelter. We found that according to the Kite Factory, 27% of those aged 25 to 34 were subscribed to multiple products versus 11% over 55. It's a familiar product model, and we kind of had an affinity with them in that the team consisted of a few millennials. So we wanted to narrow down the audience and decided that by focusing on millennial females, we were at a better start because our database consisted of more millennial supporters than donors.
So we went back to the drawing board somewhat. We used all of the research we conducted to create course personas, narrowing down the segment of millennials we should be targeting. So we had extrovert Ali, who is nothing like me, introverted Imogen, close-knit Kelly, and spontaneous Sylvia. We used all of the research we conducted from that then to do product ideation around each persona, using a crazy eights approach to come up with quick fire solves to the problem. And a few ideas stood out, including the idea of a book club product we were calling Book Club Experiences. So the idea for that was a monthly book club centered around social change, with follow-on content including suggested events to attend around the subject, actions to take based on the issue covered, podcasts, streaming content or online forums curated around the book, and suggested talking points for organising your own book club meeting. We'd look to partner with libraries and bookshops to give easy access to content. So this was born out of the need for a meaningful meetup, something that stands out whilst giving a simple meetup mechanism. It also fit with the original goal of creating a movement. However, I hate to mention it, but then COVID hit, and the product we could actually put to market during social distancing, and the one that solved a problem for users at home during that particular time, was a pivot to an online version of the Shelter Book Club, the one that I mentioned earlier. We researched and found at-home reading and demand for these activities had risen, and then we finally asked for some budget. Just want to point out, all I've told you so far, it sounds like a lot, and we've talked a lot, but it was done without any budget. It was just 2 hours commitment from 3 colleagues each month to do some extra research and find out a bit more about our users and really start to hone in and understand. So once we had that budget agreed, we checked appetite for the product idea through a smoke test. Our user insights gave us a list of features required for our product, which we prioritized in terms of must have, should have, and could have based on user need. This was to make it easier to launch something quick and simple with low resource. Our must-haves and should-haves formed the basis of our minimum viable product, otherwise known as MVP. We assessed 5 different platforms against these features: book clubs, Goodreads, Zoom, Facebook, and an email provider. Book clubs and Goodreads both had the features we needed, and our hunch was that book clubs met our needs in the best way, so we decided to test. So we ran some usability testing based on the basic product functions we needed for 6 users, 5 using desktop and 1 using the book clubs app. And the idea was to identify any usability and comprehension issues and obtain user feedback. And the feedback that we gathered helped us decide on what we were going to do next and what needed to change within book clubs in order for us to make the product work. Once we had all those features prioritized and a platform that delivered most of them, we engaged book clubs in a discussion around what we needed for MVP stage, and then what was needed beyond to continue growth. And emojis to messages to respond to others, to show my personality and build community. And below you can see the feature as implemented by book clubs as emoji reactions and used by our users in meetings. One I'm able to do at MVP stage was include a payment option direct from book clubs. So we worked with our internal digital team and set up a bespoke journey from iRaiser payment page to a confirmation email, which we edited to include a sign-up link to our book club on the book clubs platform. What we thought was slightly clunky journey, but easy enough for the basic test product. But that actually turned out to work very well and not be a blocker to sign up. And as such, we never improved upon it as we built out.
In terms of performance, we exceeded our year 1 income targets ahead of time. So from the table, you can see that the book club membership grew really quickly with just over 250 members in the first 3 months, going up to over 900 by July 2021. We also saw a large number of people giving more than £4.99 a month, with the largest monthly gift being £20 a month. Naturally, as membership increased, that percentage would be
lowered, but actually it didn't lower by much. And again, as membership increased, the retention rate dropped, but was still massively impressive when benchmarked against our internal regular giving products and across the UK subscription products, which according to Daydot sees a 98% cancellation rate within the first year. We also saw some great engagement on the book club site itself at the start, with 2,900 page views in September, and 72% of those interactions were being viewed on the page more than 3 times in that month. Naturally, this dropped over time as membership increased, but also we found that members didn't feel the need to check into the club outside of meetings, which isn't really ideal for product retention, but it did mean that there would be less resource required from us. We also saw high engagement in membership polls. So we had a 68% response within the first few days of polls going live. You'll also notice that in July 2021, the page views dropped to 206. So that was shortly after lockdown eased in the UK, and we did see a significant drop in numbers. But it was also at the time when we'd begun turnout's closure. So we were expecting that, but what we found was that our retention rate wasn't affected and we weren't seeing many cancellations.
In addition to this, we were able to claw back 25% of our initial costs within the first 3 months. We found our membership was bringing a new audience to Shelter, with half of our members being new to Shelter within the last year, which is the highest we've seen of any new products in the last 5 years. We also found we attracted a secondary audience of a more traditional donor of 45 plus female. We also brought in new talent from authors and publishers via the offering of engaging in Q&As, and got corporate interest from large UK retailers, as well as cultivation of our publisher relationships, leading to book donations worth over £1,200 to our shops, and event proceeds being donated to Shelter as well. We were able to offer book giveaways at no cost, get involved with influencers to promote competitions, and we kept on top of members' needs through surveys and got a member satisfaction score of 4.76 out of 5, which is incredibly impressive for a new product, especially one that started as an MVP. Seeing continual growth and monitoring feedback meant that we were able to quickly extend the product through the Christmas gift subscription test, which we'll talk about later. So how has the book club product impacted our work at Shelter, and what's next for us? So we are going to continue to focus on finding new ways to get regular income and find new ways of value exchange to attain regular income. We are continuing to look to diversify our audiences and ensure all products are as authentically inclusive as book club. And we're looking to remove siloed barriers and drawing on experts from other teams to deliver opportunities in a dynamic and agile way. The book club product development, along with other internal projects, actually led us to becoming the team that we told you that we are today, which is a team focused on product development and innovation. It has actually changed our job titles, allowing us to focus more on these kind of products in future. It might be close, but it has impacted our work at Shelter greatly, and we will continue embedding a culture of product development and innovation through insight and ideation.
Okay, we are now just going to go to the next slide here. So obviously that was a condensed 10-minute snippet from their 60-minute presentation of this case at our digital fundraising week. You can actually get the full 60-minute presentation by contacting me after this meeting, so you can watch the entire presentation in full. But essentially, obviously, they did an enormous amount of research internally on their audience. As they mentioned, they found a gap in their offering. They found an opportunity that would appeal to target millennials. And then, of course, they launched the book club product. As they mentioned, they then used the iRaiser payment app to process the regular giving payment for the book club subscription. What I think is really powerful also from this product is, yes, there's a value exchange, but they also created an opportunity to produce really interesting content targeted to their audience about their actual organisation. So their organisation is centred obviously around homelessness. So they were able to use it as a content avenue to promote some pressing social issues of the day. So that was obviously also an attractive outcome. definitely in terms of corporate engagement and the attraction of social media and the engagement they were able to have with authors. And of course, having that meet up through Zoom and having that connection with their donors as well is also another really awesome element of this product that this team tested out. What I also like is the use of all the commercial language. So they launched an MVP, so a minimum viable product, to see whether their product actually was actually worth continuing. They have got, as I mentioned, a team now dedicated to product innovation and product, like building new products for and targeting new audiences. So again, it's obviously a really good commitment from Shelter that they are looking at this way forward. So you can see some of the learnings there. And I think the last slide here is obviously you can contact Shelter directly. You can obviously say that you got to see a little bit about the case here in Australia. Connect with these guys on LinkedIn, and I'm sure that they'll be happy to talk to you about what else they're looking at in their product innovations team. And if you have any questions specifically about the book club, I'm sure they'll be happy to answer. So I think we have a couple of minutes spare. So if you have any questions, or if you would like to share any value exchange programs that you're considering, feel free.
Thanks, Beck. Yeah, please do, everyone, use the Q&A box or the chat box if you want to ask any questions of Beck, or if you want to share what you've been doing at your organisation in terms of value exchange. We'd love to hear. I know we're coming up to 1 o'clock. We can run a couple of minutes over if anybody has any questions. One thing that I just wanted to clarify with you, Beck, is the takeaway. So what was iRaiser's role? It was managing the payment page, and did it look like a donation page, or how was that kind of set up?
Yeah, so they developed, as I said, a bespoke journey through to their iRaiser payment application. And obviously, people were landing on their dedicated campaign in relation to the book club, their dedicated payment campaign. They would go through, sign up as a regular giver, but it would be more in relation to the book club program. It wouldn't necessarily be called regular giver. It might be book club subscription, for example. Then when they went through and made the payment on the thank you page, they, as I said, they had a journey where you could click through and go into the book club journey, so you could actually join the book club that way. So they obviously use our solution for the payment and setting up that regular subscription product. And obviously the campaign pages are fully customizable, so it might be you use it for something like Shelter UK did, or you can customize and use the tool for all sorts of different elements. So that is what they did. And as Ali said, what they thought might have been a clunky journey, because obviously going through payment and then clicking and having to go on to create their book club account, turned out they were thinking that they would build on this and improve on this later. Actually turned out to be a good experience for the donors, so they didn't need to change it, which is great.
Fantastic. And it's great that they were able to share information that was really, it created discussion about issues that was really important to them and about their work. So it's
Absolutely.
just, yeah, absolutely, really great way to bring all of that together.
Mm-hmm.
So Beck, we don't have any more questions, and we have come up to 1 o'clock now, but obviously everyone, Beck's LinkedIn, you can use that QR code there to get in touch with Beck and ask her about this. It's certainly a new concept to me, so I'm sure that some of you have more questions about that. And we will, Beck, am I right in saying that we'll circulate the full presentation that Shelter did, the full 60 minutes? Or
you can contact me and I can send you a link directly. So if you scan that LinkedIn, or you respond to the email that F&P will send out after this, I can then send you the full 60-minute presentation. I would just say some of the other value exchange programs that we're hearing is a lot of people are looking at like recipes and recipe books, and there's a lot of things around this subscription side. So I hope that it's given people a little bit of inspiration to think about how they could attract new regular givers with a value exchange.
Absolutely. Always good to have new ideas. Thank you so much, Beck. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope to see you on Thursday next week. And in the meantime, have a good week and have a good afternoon today. And thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.